They mistook my silence for surrender, but they never realized I was building fire in the dark. They laughed when I vanished, mocked me when I went quiet. They thought I had fallen, that I had faded. But what they couldn't see was the storm I was birthing within. I wasn't running, I was regenerating. I wasn't broken, I was evolving. The battlefield may have emptied, but I'd never left. I was just sharpening my mind, forging my spirit in shadows too deep for the faint-hearted to follow. I don't chase noise, I embody stillness. Because in silence, the real ones don't crumble. They reconstruct, piece by brutal piece. I didn't beg for light, I became it. I didn't seek justice, I carved my own version with bare hands and unshakable will. I don't cry out for peace, I walk through war with fire in my veins and eyes that have seen too much to ever flinch again. They wanted chaos? I carry it in my soul, but I control it, I tame it. I wield it like a blade, I don't explode, I dismantle quietly. They think they're predators? I was born in the hunt. I've bled through battles they couldn't even survive in dreams. I don't fear betrayal. I've dined with it, I've slept beside it, and now I recognize its footsteps before it even arrives. They underestimated the silent ones. But I've always known, it's not the loudest that are the deadliest, it's the ones who smile with scars, the ones who stare into the void and grin back. They thought I'd disappeared. No, I was mastering the art of resurrection. While they were watching for weakness, I was building a legacy in silence. Not to impress, not to prove, but to conquer without speaking. I don't run anymore. I move with purpose. I don't scream anymore. My presence is the roar. I don't fight for a place. I take it without permission. They labeled me cold, ruthless, distant, but they never looked deeper. I am deliberate. I am unapologetic. I am the calm before the annihilation, and when I rise, I do so with a force that erases every lie they ever told about me. You see, I didn't escape the fire, I merged with it. I didn't avoid the pain, I embraced it. I let it etch itself into my bones until agony became art, until every scream turned into strategy and every breakdown into blueprint. I let it twist me, tear me, and in that destruction, I found something stronger than survival. I found rebirth. So now, when they ask what happened to me, I smile. Because I became everything they feared. Everything they tried to bury. Everything they whispered about in quiet corners but never dared face head-on. I am the result of what happens when you try to erase a soul that was never yours to rewrite. I'm not coming back, I never left. I was just outgrowing the cage. Now I walk in with lightning in my eyes and silence in my stride, the kind that speaks louder than any scream ever could. Let them talk, let them guess, let them wonder where I went, who I've become, what I'll destroy next. Because the truth is simple. I don't announce the storm anymore. I am the storm. You thought the storm was the end. No, it was the beginning of my reign. I no longer move through this world seeking validation. I am the validation. Every step I take shatters the doubts they tried to plant in me. Every breath I breathe is a declaration. I survived what was meant to kill me, and not just survived. I turned it into fuel. I don't knock on doors anymore. I kick them open. I don't wait for opportunities. I create them from ashes and ruin. I don't seek approval. I speak truths too raw for fragile minds to digest. You can call it arrogance. I call it liberation. Because when you've clawed your way back from the edge, you don't come back humble. You come back unyielding. Let them say I changed. Damn right I did. Pain will do that. Betrayal will do that. Silence will sharpen you in ways comfort never could. I was sculpted by fire, not flattery. Forged in abandonment, not applause. I didn't become ruthless. I became real. And the world fears anything it can't control. Now, I no longer respond to whispers. I make people tremble with just presence. I've become what they pretended to be. Strong, focused, dangerous in my silence. They follow trends. I walk paths carved from scars. They chase comfort. I embrace chaos and call it home. Because in the wreckage of who I was, I built something terrifyingly beautiful. And if you think this is my final form, think again. I'm still rising, still rebuilding. still evolving into something even darker, even wiser, even more untouchable. You can't stop a force that's already embraced its own destruction. You can't break someone who already crawled through hell and came out smiling. You can't silence a voice that speaks from the core of survival. This is not revenge. This is remembrance. Every scar is a memory, every battle a chapter, and every time they pushed me down, I was silently writing my comeback in stone. Not to be read, not to be praised, but to remind them. I don't need to scream to dominate. My silence is louder than their existence. So go ahead, watch closely, whisper louder, keep wondering who I've become. 'Cause one thing is certain, I'll never be what they wanted, I'll only be what they fear. You see, I didn't just rise, I resurrected. Not as the person I used to be. That version died in the silence, in the betrayal, in the lies they fed me while smiling. What walks now is something else. Not a survivor, not a warrior, but a storm wrapped in skin, a reckoning cloaked in stillness. I became everything they couldn't predict, everything they tried to suppress. While they laughed behind masks, I learned to read eyes. While they threw stones, I built a throne. One made of every insult, every rejection, every scar they thought would cripple me. I turned pain into bricks, and silence into mortar. I no longer seek peace, I embody it. The kind that unnerves cowards. The kind born from absolute inner war. A silence so sharp it slices through deception. I don't speak often now, but when I do, every word lands like a blade. Controlled, precise, final. They tried to kill my spirit, but all they did was starve the noise around it. And now, all that's left is clarity, cold, clean, and unforgiving. I see who's real, who's loyal, who only stood beside me when I was convenient, and I remember everything. Forgiveness? It's not weakness, it's evolution, but don't mistake it for access. I forgive, yes, but I don't forget. You don't get to burn bridges and expect light from me when your path goes dark. You chose your role in my story. Now live with it, because I sure as hell am. I've become my own army, my own shelter, my own savior. I no longer flinch, no longer chase, no longer explain. If you get me, good. If you don't, step aside. I didn't claw through the dirt just to prove myself to spectators. I rose for me, for the voice inside that never stopped screaming, keep going. You're not done, and I'm not. Not even close. The world hasn't seen what I'm capable of yet, because what I'm building now isn't for applause. It's for legacy, for impact, for every soul who's been broken, doubted, and left for dead. I rise so they know it's possible. I shine so they know the dark doesn't win. So mark my words, I am not their memory, I am their lesson. Because when they remember me, they won't remember softness. They'll remember the day I stopped bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand me a bandage, the day I stopped begging to be seen and became unignorable. I carved my presence into time not with noise, but with consequence. I'm not your echo, I'm the original. I'm not the broken version of what you left behind. I'm the evolution of what you could never become. You see, when they buried me in silence, they thought I'd rot. What they didn't realize is that silence is where gods awaken and demons get trained. I didn't get stronger by choice. I got stronger by force. Life didn't ask me, it pushed me, dragged me, beat me into the ground and whispered, get up or die here. So I got up, not because I wanted to, but because I refused to let them win. They thought I'd fade. They thought the damage would be permanent. But I became something that thrives in damage. I learned how to breathe under pressure, how to walk through betrayal without losing my soul, how to stand alone, fully aware that loneliness wasn't a curse. It was preparation, because I no longer belonged to the places that broke me. I've outgrown the walls that tried to trap me. And I'll never sit at tables where loyalty is conditional and respect is selective. If they can't handle my presence, that's not my burden to carry. That's the weight of their own insecurity choking them. Let them stare. Let them wonder. Let them talk. Because while they whisper behind backs, I'm writing chapters with blood, truth, and resilience. I don't chase closure. I am the closure. I don't seek revenge. I become the reason they never forget what they did. Every scar is a signature, Every setback was a setup for the storm I've become. And now, I'm not just back, I'm rebuilt, refined, relentless. I'm not fueled by anger anymore. I'm driven by clarity. I don't want revenge, I want peace. But if you threaten that peace, I will become the chaos you never saw coming. So to the ones who doubted me, you wrote me off too soon. To the ones who left me, thank you. You gave me space to find myself. And to the ones still watching, waiting, hoping I fall, I've got bad news. This is just the beginning.